7 forgotten holiday towns of the British coastline. Once, Britain's seaside was the heart of joy. Steam trains crowded with families, the scent of salt and vinegar, laughter echoing along piers. Those golden decades built towns that pulsed with excitement, their promenades alive from sunrise to sunset. But as cheap flights and modern life reshaped our habits, these coastal havens began to fade. This story of the forgotten holiday towns of the British coastline reveals how once thriving resorts lost their sparkle, their crowds, and their economic heartbeat, yet still hold an unshakable, nostalgic beauty. 7. Bognor Regis, West Sussex. There was a time when Bognor Regis stood proudly among Britain's best-loved holiday escapes. Its name carried royal prestige. King George V bestowed the Regis title in 1929 after recuperating there. For decades, its beach, promenade, and the famous Butlin's holiday camp made it a classic family destination. But the golden age dimmed. The 1970s brought cheaper Mediterranean packages, and by the 1980s, the once-packed promenade felt emptier each summer. Visitor numbers dropped, and small hotels either shut or turned into housing. According to a Guardian survey, 2025, Bognor ranks near the bottom of UK seaside satisfaction tables, a clear reflection of British seaside resort decline. Still, Bognor's soul persists. The sea glitters, the sunsets still stun, and the community clings to revival projects aimed at restoring its lost glory. The story of Bognor perfectly encapsulates the forgotten holiday towns of the British coastline, where charm and nostalgia quietly outlive the crowds. 6. Southend-on-Sea, Essex. For much of the 20th century, Southend-on-Sea was London's playground. More than 7 million visitors a year once descended on its beaches, and the world's longest pleasure pier glittered with amusements. The town's name became shorthand for sunshine and freedom. But as overseas travel took off in the 1960s, Southend's fortunes turned. Visitor numbers collapsed by roughly 70% compared with the 1950s, and by the 1980s, large hotels and attractions stood derelict. Though the seafront has been rejuvenated with cafes, galleries and Adventure Island, the core holiday economy has never recovered to its former height. Today, Southend stands half in the past and half reborn, a town caught between nostalgia and regeneration. It remains a poignant symbol of UK seaside resort decline and British coastal towns' tourism fall. The tide still comes in, only the crowds have drifted away. 5. Skegness, Lincolnshire. No phrase captured seaside pride like "Skegness is so bracing." In its heyday, this Lincolnshire resort thrived on working-class holidays. Butlin's opened here in 1936, and the trains from Nottingham and Sheffield brought thousands seeking a cheap slice of summer happiness. By the late 20th century, the story had changed. When budget flights offered guaranteed sunshine abroad, Skegness's visitor base fell sharply. A Guardian report, 2013, identified it as the most deprived of 57 major seaside towns in England, reflecting deep tourism decline. Today, summer weekends still sparkle with day trippers, but the off-season paints another picture: closed shutters, quiet streets, and struggling small businesses. Despite the hardship, the locals keep their resilience alive, proving that even amid decline, community spirit can outshine neglect. 4. Clacton-on-Sea, Essex. Clacton once roared with life, fairgrounds, dance halls, and laughter spilling from Butlin's holiday camp. For decades, it was Essex's answer to Blackpool. The 1950s and 60s brought crowds so large that extra trains had to be scheduled from London. Then, change swept in. Butlin's Clacton closed in 1983, a symbolic loss that echoed throughout the town. Tourism numbers declined dramatically. employment tied to the holiday trade followed. By the 1990s, Clacton's seafront bore the marks of UK coastal towns' tourism fall: empty hotels, tired arcades, and an ageing population replacing seasonal workers. Yet the sea air still draws loyal visitors. The Clacton Air Show attracts thousands each August, proving that the town hasn't lost its entire spark. Still, as waves crash against a half-quiet pier, Clacton reminds us how fragile the British seaside economy can be. 3. Rhyl, North Wales. Rhyl once wore the crown of North Wales tourism. In the 1950s, its golden sands and carnival atmosphere lured families from Manchester, Liverpool and Birmingham. Trains arrived packed and the promenade shimmered with lights. Then came decline. The Ocean Beach Fun Fair, Rhyl's beloved landmark, closed in 2007, marking the end of an era. Decades of economic strain followed, with visitor spending and employment consistently below national averages. Welsh Government data, 2020. Yet the story isn't entirely bleak. Regeneration schemes such as the £30 million Rhyl waterfront project and SC2 Water Park aim to recapture that old holiday spirit. Rhyl represents both loss and hope, proof that seaside towns can weather economic storms even as the crowds fade. 2. Morecambe, Lancashire. If one town personifies the full arc of Britain's seaside story, it's Morecambe. During its golden age, from the 1930s to the 1960s, the town was known as Bradford-on-Sea, welcoming hundreds of thousands of visitors each year. The Art Deco Midland Hotel shone as a northern landmark of glamour. But as industries collapsed and tourism patterns changed, Morecambe fell into decades of decline. Both of its piers were lost, one to fire, another to storms. Between the 1970s and 1990s, official tourism reports show dramatic drops in visitor spending and employment. Streets of guest houses emptied, leaving behind faded signs of prosperity. Now, a new dawn may be rising. The Eden Project Morecambe, approved in 2024 with £50 million in government funding, promises jobs and a revived tourist economy. Yet, even as optimism returns, Morecambe's quiet seafront stands as one of the most haunting examples of the forgotten holiday towns of the British coastline, a mixture of melancholy and endurance. 1. Jaywick, Essex. No town illustrates coastal decline more starkly than Jaywick. Built in the 1930s as a holiday haven for London's working class, it offered affordable seaside chalets and simple summer pleasures. But after the war, many chalets became permanent homes, and the once seasonal resort slowly declined into hardship. Over time, economic isolation deepened. The UK government's indices of deprivation, 2019 and 2025, identified Jaywick's eastern district as England's most deprived area, reflecting low income, poor housing, and minimal tourism. Flood risk remains high, further discouraging investment. The laughter of holidaymakers has long faded, replaced by quiet determination. Local volunteers continue small-scale beautification projects, and some creative startups have begun restoring chalets as art spaces. But Jaywick remains the ultimate symbol of holiday trade decline UK and the ongoing decline of British seaside towns. Still, hope persists. The North Sea breeze carries memories of what was, and whispers that revival, though slow, is never impossible. Jaywick stands as both cautionary tale and enduring heart of the forgotten holiday towns of the British coastline. These forgotten holiday towns of the British coastline tell a story written in salt and silence. Visitor numbers dwindled, piers closed, fortunes fell, yet the sea remains. Beneath every faded mural lies Britain's seaside spirit, resilient, nostalgic, and eternal, waiting for the day when the laughter might return once more. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and don't forget to turn on the